Tonight, we're talking with someone who has insight on the changing relationship between the United States and Ukraine.
The DePaul University history professor, Tom Mockaitis, is joining us again. Nice to have you on the program. Thanks for being here.
Good evening.
Professor, just your reaction to that Oval Office meeting.
It was really unbelievable. I felt very badly for Zelenskyy. Anybody who's ever been bullied knows what that feels like. And you can say that he was being disrespectful. You could also say he was a guest, and that is not how you treat a guest. He was there to sign an agreement, and the reason it got litigated in front of the American people was because they chose to make it a press event instead of dealing with this behind closed doors and only coming out when they had in fact worked everything out. Well, is it any wonder that it unfolded the way that it did?
So, Professor Mockaitis, many legal experts and political experts say that the people who benefited most from that meeting in the Oval Office were not even in the Oval Office. So how are they seeing the situation and what happened today in the Oval Office in Russia?
Well, the big winner was Vladimir Putin, because this is exactly what he wants. He wanted to drive a wedge between the United States and Zelenskyy. And I think Zelenskyy is desperate. Otherwise, he would not have been so forthright. Without security guarantees, all you will get is a ceasefire that weakens Ukraine, and within a matter of months or a year perhaps, a reinvigorated Russia will find another pretext to invade and occupy the rest of the country. So what choice does he have except to push for the only thing that will give him his country some protection, and that's a U.S. security guarantee. Both presidents realize Europe cannot do this. It certainly cannot do it alone. And they're cheering in Moscow, Putin has been brought out of the cold and back into international affairs and re-legitimized, and I think that's very, very unfortunate for us and the Western world.
What does this mean for the relationship now between the United States and Ukraine?
Well, obviously, it's very much at risk. It's not likely that Zelenskyy is going to get any aid until some kind of thaw occurs. If you look at the meetings with Macron and Sturmer, what was set up here was what the president expected. You go in, you're very appreciative, you're thankful, you praise him, and then you very gently, offer your objections or corrections the way Sturmer did or Macron did. Well, let's not give in, but you don't contradict him, you don't confront him. Well, in this case, Zelenskyy just didn't play along because he, as I said, his back is to the wall, and he can't just sign an agreement on minerals and say, well, there will be Americans mining the minerals, therefore that's a guarantee for security. It's ridiculous. It's not going to be.
Professor, there were already the lunch was served for after the signing. Everything was set up in the White House for a big ceremony after the signing for this minerals deal. And then the luncheon was already set up. And then later on today, President Zelenskyy went on social media and he said thank you about 5 times to the American president and also to Congress. But is there a pathway to peace at this point?
I'm really not sure. I'm sure nobody had an appetite for lunch after that. But on the other hand, I don't know. I mean, the president will expect some sort of an apology. Zelenskyy will want some sort of guarantee that you're not going to get a repeat of the same thing. But I'm hoping behind the scenes that what you have are proximity talks between the two delegations saying, okay, let's all take a breath, go to our corners and work this out. And they don't have another media event until they've actually ironed out all the disagreements. If Putin is allowed to win this war in Ukraine, look out for Georgia and Moldova next, and look out for our allies in Eastern Europe to be very, very nervous and wondering whether we will honor our agreement to come to their defense should they be attacked.
DePaul University history professor Tom Mockaitis, we always appreciate you on the program, sharing your expertise. Look forward to seeing you again.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.